Hi, it's Melanie, and today I'm answering a viewer question about whether or not you should eat fruit with protein. So let me read you what Nicole is asking. She says, there's conflicting information out there about eating fruit with a protein. I always found that eating a little protein like nuts or almond butter with my fruit helps sustain my energy, but some articles out there tell people never to mix the two. Any ideas? And I do have a lot of ideas and thoughts on this. And actually, the simple answer that I just love this. It's from one of my instructors during my first semester of my master's degree program. He said, people always want to know, is X, Y, Z good for you? And he says, but the question is, well, who are you? And that's exactly the question and answer here as well. So it depends on what's going on with you and how you feel, what the answer is. But let me just give you a little bit of background. So when we're thinking about eating fruit alone or with protein, that's based on a principle called food combining. So the idea is that certain foods pass through your stomach at different rates. So fruit goes through really quickly. Fruit passes your stomach in half an hour and moves on to your small intestine for the rest of the digestive process. So if you're eating fruit with like meat or, nuts and seeds or other foods that take longer in the stomach, the idea is then that the fruit kind of gets held back with those other foods that are taking longer to get through. And then there's questions about, does the fruit ferment? Like what happens if it's kind of stuck, or is it trying to push everything else through faster, and then that makes it so that the other foods aren't getting digested properly. So if you have certain digestive conditions or certain symptoms, this may be something that you need to think about and see if it works for you. See if it works for you to combine certain foods differently. But for most people, you really should have a strong enough digestive system that that it's not really an issue. And the other thing is that you really want to be focusing on blood sugar balance. I would say that's really more important here than the principles behind whether or not you would combine foods, because one of the things you really want to focus on throughout the day is whether or not you're having sustained energy from what you're eating. And that really goes back to the blood sugar issue. So if you eat fruit alone, sometimes what can happen is then the glucose goes into your bloodstream really quickly, but then maybe half an hour later you're hungry again, or you don't have sustained energy, you're tired later, because the fat and the protein that you may eat along with that actually slows the entrance of the glucose into your bloodstream. So it kind of gives you a sustained release of energy over time. So to me, that's a little bit more important because it's foundational for a lot of conditions and a lot of health issues that aren't getting better. It's foundational to make sure the blood sugar is balanced. So I would say go back to what I said at the beginning. What's working for you? And Nicole, you said in your question that you feel better, you have more energy when you combine your fruit with nuts or seeds. So I would say that's exactly the right answer. Keep doing that. Keep listening to your body. If you have a question for me about anything related to nutrition and food that you're confused about, there definitely is a lot of conflicting information out there. So leave me a comment below. Tell me what you want to know, and I'll answer your question in a future video. Bye.